Hello and welcome to Rosa Laura. If this is your first time visiting the channel, it's so lovely to meet you. And if you're returning, it's so wonderful to have you back. My name is Rosa, I'm a digital artist, and today I'm actually working on an art trade. This art trade took the form of a comic with a friend of mine using his character Vindr. Vindr is a character for a D&D campaign, and she is a bit of a chef, a bit of a fighter, and from what I've heard about her, she is a really good time overall. I wanted to do a little art trade with my friend. In fact, he kind of proposed this art trade with me, and I had just come off of doing another comic, which is going to be up on the channel by the time that this comic is actually being put out. So you can check that one out if you like. I'll put a little link to it in the description. But I was on a bit of a comic kick. I was really excited about putting together something for my friend, somebody who also does a lot of art and has fun doing art. And I wanted to really showcase his character and all the things that kind of like make that character unique and fun. All the little aspects of her design. I love doing things for other people, and I love really bringing their designs to life, and so I try to do that with a lot of passion when I do. I wanted Vindr to have this sort of field kitchen setup where she would have like some vegetables maybe that were around, or she grew herself, maybe some meat that somebody else hunted for her to use, and have sort of like this sort of exciting, in my mind, it's almost like a competition cooking show style presentation where it's like, she puts on the apron and she ties it and she slices things up and she dices things up and then it sizzles around in the pan and then it's all done. I chose the little graphic of the order up, I believe is the words at the bottom, because it reminded me of like a 50s diner. In fact, I went out onto the internet and searched what's some free fonts that I can use that are going to get me that vibe. The sizzle, sizzle, sizzle that I have in the middle was just a default font that I had on my computer, or I had in CSP. If you ever want to make a fun outline on your words, all you have to do is rasterize that layer, by the way, of text. And then you can right click and you can make a selection from the layer. I recommend making a new layer, and then you can use the edit outline selection tool to do that. I will tell you, it took me way too long to learn how to do that. Now, this was just something for me and a friend to be able to have fun with one another. The detailing on Vindr's outfit is so cute. I love the little bandana. I love the layered armor. I like the shape of those chevrons going down the chest a lot, and so when you have a character who is a chef, you want to make all this food look really good. I wanted to make sure that the wok looked, correct. I wanted it to be a nice size. In the original, reference of Vindr, it is also like a shield, so I wanted to make sure that it was the right size to use for that. I don't want for her to be unprotected in a combat situation. I did all the sketching first. In fact, if you saw at the very, very beginning, I actually started with a piece of paper. I did a traditional sketch because I wanted to get the sizing of everything right. I find that on a macro scale, I oftentimes do better at arranging panels and figuring out the relative size of everything when I'm able to do it on paper. If you're a digital artist or a traditional artist, or you work in both mediums, maybe you can chime it in the comments. Which way works best for you when you're planning out a comic? Or you're planning out a larger piece that has a little bit more of a complex setup? Let me know. But I wanted everything to look kind of like in scale to each other. I wanted these little meats and the vegetables to look nice. You'll notice that the 5th panel, the panel with spice, I actually changed. It used to be kind of like rubbing the meat with spices, and I liked that image, but I liked slice and spice as sort of like complementary words, so that's why I ended up making that choice. And now I'm just kind of laying in these nice little finishing touches. We're going to get some shading in here so that Vindr has a little bit more dimension. I usually start with our shadows and then I go in with highlights later. I don't know why. That's just me. I like to do my shading first, and then I like to move on to the highlights. So we're going to go through this twice. First time around, we're going to make sure that everything is nice and shaded. And the second time around, we're going to get all these highlights. I love seeing my friends that do art thrive and have fun. So I hope that this was really fun for you guys to see. It's not all about my OCs as much as I love to draw them. It's also about celebrating the work of others and their characters. So I hope you enjoy. As always, I want to say thank you to my patrons who help me make art, but especially Banjo, Confocal Clips, Deator, and Fire Pit. And thanks for watching. You can hit like, you can hit subscribe. There's going to be another video that's posted here for you to click on if you so like. And if you like what I do, you can support me on Patreon. But most importantly, remember, it's gonna be okay. I'll see you next time.